this effortless glow as an actor and your passion, zest, and relatability in every role can be seen from afar. Can you please share some highlights of how you began your creative journey as an actor?
Yeah, so I actually started out as a singer. So um, I basically was going through a lot in my life at that time, and but when I first started, and in a way, like I was looking for an outlet to distract myself or to try to not I don't have to like think about what's going on in my life. I was experiencing family death, and so I actually went on a singing competition that was marketed to like young college students. So I went out to a singing competition in New York. My friends basically pulled money together because at the time I didn't know what I was doing. How do I feel different? I just feel angry, frustration, sadness inside me. I didn't know what to do, and then especially I was alone in a at a country where my family's not here. So then I ended up try the singing on stage, and I think it's that first time being on stage, expressing myself how I feel through song, is that kind of it got me interested because the producers of the shows were like, "Oh, Todd, you need to be a performing artist. Um, you have all the tools that you need to become one." And then um, they suggest me to go to try to be an actor, and then I didn't know. I told them I don't know how to be an actor, and they were like, "Well, go to school." So then I thought, oh, I already have a bachelor degree at the time. I was like, maybe I will try. So I looked up for master degrees in acting. And the reason why I wanted to try is I was really intrigued by the therapeutic, the healing power of stage because all these angry negative emotion I was feeling, I was able to release them on stage in a way that I've never felt before. And it's the fact that it was a singing competition. So when I was singing it, I would cry, I would get angry with the song and then expressing them. But in the audience, the judges, they were feeling it at the same time. So then like they felt how I feel and they resonate with some of them resonate with me. The judges start crying, and then that's when I felt different, and I wanted to know why that felt different. So I started to go to school, and that's when I start training as an film and stage actor, and that's when I get really realize that how difficult it is to be an actor, and like how to be myself and how really understand who I am for me to act like somebody else. And then that's how I really started it in acting. And as I continue going on, then I started to learn more about the industry and about the community of being an actor. I was in theater many projects many times, English and Chinese both in Southern California, and I was growing as an artist, and then I also grow as a person at the same time. So that's how I started this whole journey as an actor.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. Like, I really, really like the fact that you just expressed yourself, like the relatability. I could relate very well because I'm a poet and a spoken word poet. So I could relate to the part where you're on stage and for the first time, people are feeling the emotions that are building within you, right? It shows that that's actually your passion. Like you're not just forming it or trying to be on stage. Like you're just, that's the definition of expression. So thank you for sharing that.
Ah,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah. What does art mean to you as an individual?
Art, as you can tell from my story I told you, I think art to me is a tool. Art is the tool to express yourself. Is to, I think, what's really amazing about art is you use that as a tool to express yourself, whether it's through learning, through putting yourself out there. But then at the same time, you learn about yourself, and you learn about who you are and why do you feel this way, and then you realize that art gives you the opportunity to express it so that you can learn more about yourself, and you sometimes gain clarity through it. Sometimes you you realize, oh, that's why I'm so mad. And then like sometimes you realize we just or so happy, sometimes you just want to celebrate through art. And I do think that art it's a very general term. It's visual, it's audio, it's performance, it's performance related, it's everything that expresses who you are or how you feel. So
Yeah.
by doing so, I feel it it basically it helps you to get to know yourself, and to come to claim to own yourself, and to share yourself. So that's basically what I did at the beginning and then throughout my journey. And so to me, art has is I guess it's a tool to express and tool to learn about yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Like listening to you is so awesome. Like could just connect very well. So we know how every successful creative journey is laced by hard work and lots of consistencies behind the scene. Yet you are one multi-talented creative thriving in various fields. Please share how you combine being an actor, singer, and an acting coach. Like how do you put everything together?
So yeah, it's a little crazy. So I think to be an artist in general, like because I'm definitely much more into the performing arts, because I really can draw a whole lot of stuff. But for me, singing is how I started. But then when I started learning how to act, I realized singing and acting are very similar in terms of stage performance. And so I did it one thing at a time. I wasn't trying to be all three things at the same time. So like I started as a singer, and I really enjoyed being on stage. And then like singing is kind of like uh basically a monologue on stage in music. So then like when I started learning how to act, I find a lot of similarity between the two. But then like these two fields are also very different in terms of how you want to approach it if you want to be a professional actor versus professional singer. And so I have always been trying to pursue both at the same time. I will go out for jobs that are acting related, singing related, or both, or stage or musical. um, Acting coach is when it's something I found a lot later in my career. A few years later I started acting. Then i I at the time I just really wanted to like find a job that I can also uh, help others to see what acting and singing does for me. And then like I was at a musical at the time rehearsal, and one of the musical member were a owns a school, talent school that helps young Asian American, specifically Chinese American kids to learn talents and then to take classes. And they didn't have any acting coach at the time, and they thought I was a pretty good actor. And then they asked me if I wanted to try it out, and then it's a good side money. It's also an opportunity to just flexible jobs, right? So and for to be an artist, flexible jobs is so important. um because we have to be like always on call. If we get an audition, we go right away. So it's a lot of hard work in terms of you can never have a stable consistent schedule. You just have to be able to change whenever you need to. So I took that job, and then like I hated it the first time because I didn't know how to communicate with young kids. And then they start to like react a little negatively with how I was trying to teach them. And then this is how I want them to try things out. And I realized that's not how you communicate with kids at all. Like um they like think different. And then I started to realize, what I have to do is just think like them. And while I think like them, I still teach them the things I need them to learn. Then once I start doing that, I become much more successful with communicating with them and teaching them. And all of a sudden it become word of mouth. And then all of a sudden everybody in the Chinese immigrant community knows who I was, and they wanted to take class with me. I become a very hot commodity. So at one point every weekend I was teaching about 100 different, literally about 100 kids every weekend that wanted to learn acting with me. And it's I feel like it is in a way to be able to succeed in each performing art or as an acting coach in education. It is a lot of consistency of like keep trying different ways of making a project or like communicating or to fine tune your curriculum. It's I always believe in a hard work and into consistency, persist it through problems, and you solve it, and you allow yourself to just make mistakes and continuing, and to keep putting yourself out there, keep improving yourself, and then things will actually work out, and something new will happen. And I didn't expect to love teaching young kids so much in acting. It's like to teach something you're passionate about, you want them to feel the same way, you want them to understand art. And it's really fulfilling, it's very cool, just because I didn't have that growing up. Like my parents were not very arty people. They don't really value the importance of art. I actually almost could say the same thing. I didn't as I grow up. I feel like art is it takes too much time. But then like it's not until I went through the singing competition in competitions when I realized how big of an influence and how much art plays in everyday life.
Yeah, wow. Awesome. Uh you are not just striving as an individual, but you're also creating pathways for other young actors to thrive, like you just shared. Kindly share the vision behind your inspiring platform, iStage Entertainment. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. It's a two-in-one question. It's a two-in-one question. Also, what would you consider most fulfilling about being a creative? So it's a two-in-one question.
Yeah. So I'll start with the first one. I Stage Entertainment. Uh it it's a platform I have always thought about. It wasn't that name. I just real at the time when I was teaching for about 2 3 years at the talent school. I I just feel like there's a need in the community. There's so many talented young kids there are they're like hunger for like learning to share their art, or they wanted to pursue something they like a lot as a more serious matter. It's not just like, oh, after school program, after school you go there and just to read some lines, you go home. And like so then like someone that really want to become an actor, knowing what that means. And so I created this platform because I saw a need in the community. Their kids are so talented, and I also see a need in Hollywood that there is not enough representation for Asian American on big screens. And I wanted to create a bridge that can take these immigrant families kids that are already talented, passionate, very good at what they being an artist, to be able to be seen on a big screen, to be able to be noticed, to get exposure. And I don't necessarily believe that I have the power to make them a star, because I don't think that nobody can really just guarantee that. However, I can create this platform, a bridge that they can not only get trained through me with the most updated like Hollywood information about what casting is like right now, what is going on in the industry. And by the same time, I can create this community for the kids to learn and to be to challenge each other, and to realize that what really this platform is trying to do, and then what they're a part of this movement. So Asian Americans have been trying to like to make ourselves seen, known by more. Like there's a lot of people that are paving the way. Michelle Yeoh with with everything everywhere all at once. Like somebody people like that was paving the way so that we can then continue moving on. And I'm basically building this bridge to do this. iStage is for it's a platform for them, for young Asian American kids to find their voice, to elevate their voices, so then uh they can not only pursue what they love, but at the same time they have a way to be seen by top talent agencies by the directors and producers, and then they're not just training for fun to create, but it becomes a serious professional channel for them to do so. And I think being the most fulfilling part of being a creative, which to your second question, uh, I think as a creative, I do feel like to be able to, like, we make art because we want people to see it, we want people to feel the see what we see, and then feel what we feel, and then use that to inspire them to do their own creative as well, or do it together, collaborate to make something even more amazing that maybe have not been seen in the world before. And I think that's the most exciting part about being a creative. And to tie that into with like iStage Entertainment, I feel like I'm doing that exact same thing by putting my art out there, as my films, my theater projects out there, and then I do it with the kids I have trained and inspire them to do their own thing. I used to teach just acting, and then I have teach students that saw that I direct, I write, and they want to do the same thing. They're like, I also have something in my own idea, imaginations at how I want to write the script that could be very different. And through their voices, the kids' voices, they start to create something on their own, and then they feel proud of themselves. They feel the proud of feel the sense of accomplishment of like, oh, I can also create something beautiful. And so to me, that probably is the most fulfilling part, and that ties into my own artist life, but also my acting coach, and being the CEO of iStage Entertainment. I feel like I am passing that down to kids that with a similar passion. I have kids that are like in their teens now. Some are already about to go to college, and they can take that value that I have shown them, given them, then to use that in their own life to pursue something beautiful on their own as well. So yeah.
Awesome. I don't know, perhaps you already know this, but I need you to know that you're doing something very, very iconic. Like these kind of things are like certain footprints that would leave way, way like 100 years to come, because you're not just living your own art, you're building the next generation. So thank you so much for what you are doing, Todd. Um, as as creatives, we are like deep thinkers, and we are just very extraordinary people. So what's your dream life as an artist? Because I know creatives are like daydreamers and all. What's that your dream life as an artist?
My dream life as an artist, I think that's probably the hardest question out of everything, because I have dreams that but I feel like they constantly change as I go. Like I think as an artist, I have already kind of dabbled into what I really wanted to be like. But this might be a sound a little bit self-centered, but then like so I made a coming out short film. Um Years ago, and um I have since then like bump into people online or like in person, thanking me and then telling me how that film meant to them, and how that film changed their life or saved their life. I think my dream life as an artist is I would be continue making project I like in the business. Sometimes you're not always doing the films you like, or uh doing the things you like
Yeah,
because you're paid and tasked into doing it. So sometimes I think that's really hard as an artist, because I don't want to lose that passion and excitement for arts, because we become this doing the same thing over and over and over again, or like something that you might not feel very some of the roles, some of the film projects I do as an artist and an actor, I don't love it, but then like but you might be asked to do it
yeah,
because you need either the job, or you need the manager to be happy, or you want the agency to be happy. So but my dream life will be that I will be always doing projects I really enjoy, I really like. I get to have the power to choose what kind of project I want to do, so I can have then the project can be reflective of who I am, and then reflective of what I like. So to get there, I feel like I will have to be at a specific fame and financial level for me to create my own projects. Then I can make an influence the way I want to in this industry, in this world. Like if I could have all the money and the power to decide what to make as my project that can make an influential level of impact on the world, like if I wanted to make the next biggest like Asian American film, then I will need a lot of forces and then the power around that to create that like Crazy Rich Asians, right? So how do I make more projects like that? It was to be at a level that I can create projects like that, and that will be a dream life to just continue being an artist, to continue doing the things I want to do until the day I die.
Trust me, creatives like you never die. Like you live on and on and on in all the life in all the lives that you've impacted. Seriously, you've impacted life, you are still impacting life. So you're just reflecting or like a replica of yourself, knowingly or unknowingly. So don't think about that yet. All right. Okay. So I don't know if this question is fine if you want to skip it, but if you have an answer, just express yourself in the way you want to express yourself. So do you feel creatives in the developed countries at advantage than those in developing countries?
Uh, I will answer it, and because I do have an answer that but then like I also uh, I don't know how people will feel about this answer because I have to be very real about this. In the past, about like maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when TikTok is really a thing, uh, I don't think developed country. I didn't think developed country was at an advantage before, because I think there are pros and cons of in each culture environment that you're in, because you're always gonna have something that holds you back. It could be a technological advances. It could be your access to different knowledge and different tools to create something back then. However, like developed country in the past, I felt like they are blinded a lot by a lot of things that's too busy. They don't stop and think about nature. They don't stop thinking about how to like enjoy maybe just slow down a little bit, enjoy your life a little bit, because developed country, like, especially like at big city metropolitan cities, they're just busy all the time doing something, so we get lost a lot. So that in the past, I feel like there's pros and cons. So I feel like being a creative, I don't necessarily think you have to be in a developed country to be one, to be able to make something. But now these days my answer has changed. My answer has changed because they are at an advantage, because now the information, the knowledge is passed down so fast now. If you are at a developing country, you're not gonna have as much of access to quick information, like or around the world as fast as the developed country. And in that sense, your art, to circulate your art, to show your art to on platforms, it becomes faster and faster if you are given the tools to do it. um, and then it becomes uh, it becomes a tool that creative now have to use, will have to learn how to use or have to access to, um if you want to be able there's certain things that create limitations, you would need it, human limitations have you need for extra um um I don't want to say gadgets, but an extra like help that some of the developed country will have access to, and that they started to create a gap between how some what are what's that kind of changes what media circulates and then what people can get to see or not see. So like if you are a creative in a developed country, your content will most likely be seen faster, will be drowning out things fast because things are moving too fast now. TikTok, 15 seconds, go, go, go. And if you don't have that, then your content gets skipped a lot. And then and that's really, it's the reality at the moment. And then I actually really hope that I don't love it, just because that kind of quick media information content, it also sort of make the creative stuff loses its value a little bit. um so but then I think that's just the trend at the moment. That's where the things are going at the moment. And for me as to teach kids, how are kids going to have, how do kids know all these things that we know because they have TikTok? So then, like, they might not know what exactly is happening, but I know that those things exist, and they stimulate them a lot sooner and earlier on, faster, with the information from around the world. So that's how I feel in a moment about being a creative, because now you just have to keep up with to in order to keep up with what now the audiences are able to access. Then we have to kind of update to keep up with it in order for our content to be seen.
Said it all. Thank you so much for sharing. Um, we understand balancing work time, rest time is a struggle for many creatives, including me. Please share a few tips on how you try to balance work time, rest time, and family time.
It's really hard. It's like I still struggle with this some of the times. But I think what I have learned throughout the years is to prioritize. Like, you have to prioritize what's important to you. Your survival is important, so you need to be able to feed yourself. So you have to work, and you have to rest so you can work. But you also can't just isolate yourself from your friends and family, otherwise you feel lonely, and then your creative juices are not gonna flow as well if you are not resting with not with people that you love, to feel that you're being supported by them. um like, I'm an extrovert. Like, I love being around people, I thrive around people. So then, like, it's really important for me to take time to be with people and to talk to other people. And that's also one way of, like, actors and director writers to get a sense of different people's backstories, and then their everyday life. That's what stimulates me to act, to to write. So, like, in a way, like, that's all very important. And then, so the balance is kind of like setting a boundary for yourself. That, I think that's the only way that I would tell people they're starting up as artists. Like, you want to take the time for yourself, you want to take time to write, to act, to be a better person and better artist, but you want to rest and you want to spend time with family. So that, to do that, you just have to, like, make it very yeah, you have it will be a trial and error. You kind of have to, like, figure out what you need to set boundary for, and then to take time to reflect. Oh, how have you been spending your time? Are you sleeping enough? Are you reaching out to people? And so with that trial and error, in a way, like right now, for example, like, I love teaching kids. I used to teach 100 a weekend, and that's too much. Like, I didn't have time to rest. I didn't have time to see friends or family on the weekends at all. Not that creators of weekends, but that's other people's weekends. Like, your family has weekends, your friends have weekends, but then you don't, because you're an artist. So if I have a 9 to 5 job, you basically don't see them ever if you don't take the time to try to do it. So I have made a rule for myself, since I started ice stage entertainment. I don't work on Sundays unless it's emergency, unless it's something like, oh yeah, it's only this Sunday. Otherwise, Sunday I don't work. Like, nobody, I will not take students on. I will not, uh yeah, I just won't be doing anything on Sundays usually. Um so I would say boundaries and prioritize and self-reflect. I feel like those are the things you want to do when you continue work figuring out where your time goes.
Yeah, I'm taking notes personally. Okay, I think you've answered this question somehow along the line, but what does success mean to you?
um I think uh success, I think it. it's met I don't I think everybody measures success a little differently. As an artist, creatives, you want you you value success based on how much impact you make. But I do think it's also important to think about like how much of an impact do you have on each individual is also very important. It's not just a numbers game. So it's not just quantity over quality or quality. It's not one or the other. Like ideally you want both. You want to do as many as you can. But in my opinion, I'm only one person, and then so like I want to be able to pass to impact on young minds, young kids, they're young artists. But I want to be able to bring it on, and they can pass it on. So it becomes like a waterfall effect. It goes into the world that in the way that you can pass as one person. So I think success is how much it's a sense of like how much impact you make on one individual, and also how much impact on the people that you have passed it on. It almost feels like you're saying earlier, like you know, like art lives on forever. So then, if you're able to keep the art moving forward, and then to through the people you have touched with your art, I think that you may not necessarily know though. I don't know if you can necessarily know how many people you really have touched, but knowing that it's out there and it's doing something for somebody, and I think that would be what success means to me. I don't know if that answered the question, but does that?
Yeah, that's awesome. Please, briefly tell us something that we may not know about Todd Lien.
Um, this is out there somewhere too, because I've done interview by myself in the past. But something you might not know is I am I actually grew up be trying to be a doctor. So I actually got into medical school. I got into a PhD program in pharmaceutics before I started a whole acting thing. So I used to be very introverted. Like I don't really like to express myself all that much. And then I want to be a medical doctor because I think something similar to what I do now is back then I wanted to save lives. I wanted to change people's life. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to use what I know to do something. So then back then I think being a doctor is gonna help. It's a very direct answer to me at a time. And then now being an artist, I felt just as powerful, if not more, of what I can do for people. And so like I think something that people don't know, because I have done both the science part the world. I've published papers, I've done research on asthma research and then renal disease. However, now like I've completely switched over to the field of arts. And yeah, so I think not a lot of people know that about me, but I was able to use the what I've learned in the science field to the values I learned, and things I can even use that to like help kids to realize, look, you might not. It's a story that I have told some of the kids when they're in high school. They are trying to go for college. They're like, what do I do with my life? I don't know what if I'm making the right decision. And then I often use my own story to tell them nobody knows. You go for something you think you do, but it's okay to change your mind. It's okay that you found something better, even if you made a choice now. Because it's kind of crazy to tell people that you need to know what you want to do when you're 17 years old. They don't know. And then you try it, and then maybe you don't like it. So I think yeah, so I think I'm went off the tangent now, but basically that's my backstory of how I got to the arts. And I think it's something that not necessarily everybody knows about, because they all know me as an actor and an acting teacher for kids.
Yeah, and what I just learned from you now is that it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your
Yeah.
mind. I'm definitely jotting that down because sometimes it's not so easy to switch. It takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of passion and all. But Todd is telling us today that it's okay. You don't have to feel less of yourself. You don't have to feel like you're not really sure of what you're doing, but it's okay to change your mind. So thank you so much for sharing that. Um, so this is the last but not the least. Let's go a little poetic. If poetry is a rainbow and you have a choice of one color in that palette, what color would that be and why?
This question I want to ask, double check, because are you asking what color do I want to be, or I will if I use a color to represent myself? Is that what you
Yeah,
meant?
so the question is more like what's your favorite color?
My favorite color. So I guess you know the color that I think I am. Would be blue, or
Why?
I don't. Okay, it would be blue. My favorite color is turquoise. It's like blue and green. But then like I think I'm a shade different shades of blue every time because like to me I think blue the different shades of blue represents a lot of different emotions that I've been through, and I like blue. When I think of blue I think of water. I think of ever changing. I feel like the water it takes different form and shape based on where you put yourself in, and it can make people feel mysterious, can feel calm. You can also feel power within it, like the ocean. You can also feel like a lake when it's very quiet, and then you can also feel like rain when it feels like refreshing. So in a way, like water goes through different cycles, water different takes different forms, and then I feel very uh, resonating with that. And so then like I now I'm wearing blue right now, which I should be wearing blue, but but then like I my closet was basically all blue, different forms of blue.